Bill 2020. Kenyans have been advised to have a look at the document and present their cases and views on matters on the Finance Bill 2024. This is so that they do not miss out on the window to see to it that they have a say on aspects of governance that are going to be dictating their day-to-day lives for the next financial year. Tonight, I'll be joined by Ruth Kinyanjui, who's a political and financial advisor on the same, just to shed more light on certain proposals that have been put up in that particular Finance Bill 2024. So stick around for that. But first things first, we begin by having a look at what is shipping news tonight.
Ukuta ndio huo umeenda. Sasa watoto wetu hawana pa kusomea.
Tumeweza kuuliza walimu kwa roho safi ya kwamba kubali wanafunzi wachukue vyuo vingine ambavyo pengine walikuwa wametengewa.
Schools countrywide reopened for the second term amid concerns over the condition of institutions ravaged by floods and safety of learners, with 71 schools failing to reopen.
My profession is being abused because we are being paid peanuts. The money that we are being paid is a sitting allowance to some people.
We are asking ourselves, where did the morals of this country go?
Junior secondary school teachers demonstrate, vowing to remain out of classes until the government reviews their terms of employment.
We are just coming out from a flooding disaster, and yet we see that there's no conscience or feeling towards the challenges.
And Kenyans expressed dissatisfaction to the heavy taxation imposed by the K24 administration, terming the proposed Finance Bill 2024 as burdensome.
I was done that reconstruction just recently on 20th of Feb this year. And yes, as you can see.
Plus, on Health Beat tonight, we shed the light on breast cancer and how reconstruction has come in handy for patients in their healing journey. Well, K24 Evening Edition begins right now. I'm Alan Owino. Our sign language interpreter for this session is Clement Muli. Schools countrywide have officially reopened for the second term after 2 weeks' delay amid concerns over the condition of the institutions ravaged by floods and safety of learners in areas that have continued to experience intense rainfall. Our reporter Bintura Kwamboka conducted a spot check in various schools that were heavily affected by the floods and now brings us the fate of students amid the flooding situation.
As schools reopened for the second term following a 2 weeks delay, students have resumed normal learning. However, in areas ravaged by floods in the course of the last 3 weeks, the order of business was of the contrary. A spot check by K24 TV in Mathare North Primary is nothing short of the heavy cleaning by pupils. The first sight that meets the eye is students salvaging what is left in mud that heaped classrooms, piling textbooks with loads of dirt. Book by book, page by page, are washed off dirt and made neat before they're dried, ready to be used for learning.
Mimi sijawahi kujua kwamba vitabu vingeweza kuoshwa, vitakate na vianikwe na vitumike. Na hilo jambo limekuwa mara ya kwanza. Kwa hivyo kweli elimu ni bahari, nimesoma hayo katika msimu huu wa mafuriko.
With only a fraction of pupils reporting in this institution, which also currently houses 16 internally flood-displaced families, efforts to reconstruct 5 classrooms that caved in during the heavy rains are underway.
Kwa madrasa ambayo yalibomolewa na maji, mbunge wetu TJ Kadua na kitengo cha NGCDF cha Waraka wameweza kuja kurekebisha na wamekarabati yale madrasa.
Though the number of students is expected to fluctuate due to urban-rural migration, the school head Boniface Matandes says they equally expect new enrollments in the institution. With 16 families still camping in the school premises, they now want the promised 10,000 shillings allocated in order to pave way for return of normal learning activities.
Sisi hatujapata chochote, na chifu alikuja 2 days ago akasema kila mtu haende kwa jirani ama kwa rafiki yake akakaa. Kama mimi niko na watoto 4 na wanasomea hii shule, hawana uniform, hawana vitabu, hakuna nyumba. Sasa nimeshindwa nitatoka hapo niende wapi? Sasa ndio nangoja, hata ningepata at least hiyo 10k. Ningerent nyumba, I love the rest. Ningejifanyia mwenyewe.
Elsewhere in Baringo, a majority of schools failed to open after floods rendered the facilities inaccessible as pupils from St. Basile in Lurambe constituency were forced to take lessons under trees following the destruction of 4 of the classrooms.
Hali ya jengo hili ni hatari zaidi kwa watoto wetu. Hawawezi kusoma ndani ya hili jengo kwa maana liko na hatari kubwa. Hata mabati ndio hiyo imeenda, ukuta ndio huo umeenda. Sasa watoto wetu hawana pa kusomea.
In Kiambu County, teachers were forced to forfeit some of their toilets after 23 of the students' lavatories caved in Mutume Secondary School.
Wanafunzi zaidi ya 600 kuwa vyoo vimebomoka, basi inakuwa ni changamoto. Niseme ya kwamba tumechukua mikakati kidogo ya kwamba tumejenga vyoo kidogo hapa na pale, na pia tumeweza kuuliza walimu kwa roho safi ya kwamba kubali wanafunzi wachukue vyoo vingine ambavyo pengine walikuwa wametengewa.
The president has in the recent past noted that the NGCDF will be used to rebuild classrooms ravaged by the floods. Bentura Kwambuka, K24, Nairobi.
As schools reopened today after a 2-week delay, junior secondary school teachers have vowed to stay out of classes until the government reviews their terms of employment. Part of the demands from the JSS intern teachers include employment on permanent and pensionable terms and scrapping off the internship program following a court ruling that rendered it illegal. The teachers are also demanding a probe into claims that members of parliament have been distributing TSC employment letters in their constituencies. Timothy Seymour reports.
After being forced to take a 2-week delay, learning for junior secondary school students started on a disruptive note. Junior secondary school teachers were on the road for their weekly demonstrations to protest and demand review of the employment terms by the national government.
We are not going to go back to those schools. There is no learning. No CBC will continue. In
Kiambu County, more than 1,500 JSS teachers absconded classrooms to join hands in piling pressure on the government. They have further blamed members of the National Assembly who have come under the accusation of auctioning employment letters from TSC in their constituencies. Maureen McKenna, their spokesperson, says employment by TSC has become discriminatory.
I am very bitter as a teacher because I feel that as my profession is being abused because we are being paid peanuts. The money that we are being paid is a sitting allowance to some people.
In Machakos County, teachers from the entire 9 sub-counties held peaceful demonstrations at TSC offices where they took their demand letter on issues that need to be sorted before they resume classes.
We need confirmation and compensation because we have been there teaching, getting a peanut of 17,000, something that can never get our needs. And that is why we are here to kisema tafadhali, serikali ikiongozwa na TSC. We asking that you confirm us and you compensate us the time that you have been in school.
JSS teachers in Kakamega County joined their colleagues in reinforcing the same message as they describe their current terms of employment and insults to their years of hard work.
We want the government to obey the court order. These teachers are qualified teachers.
Elsewhere in Kirinyaga County, JSS teachers, while demonstrating in Kutu's town, demanded the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to investigate claims of legislators accessing TSC employment letters and dishing them out to relatives and friends.
We are calling upon the EACC to come and investigate those members who are dishing out PNP letters and are not following the due course in the teacher employment.
Even the CS for Education himself is dishing out permanent letters in a funeral. And then we are asking ourselves, where did the morals of this country go? How comes, where is the integrity? Where is the honesty?
Similar demonstrations were also held in Laikipia, Narok and Murang'a counties as teachers vowed to stay put until their demands are met. Timothy Seymour, K24 TV.
The death toll from flood-related cases has risen to 277 countrywide after one more person succumbed in the last 24 hours. This comes even as 71 schools did not open today after their infrastructure was destroyed by floods. Thousands of families further continue facing food shortages and heightened risks of waterborne diseases as sanitation facilities continue being compromised in displacement camps. And as Lameka Gutu reports, the Law Society of Kenya also wants the National Disaster Risk Management Bill of 2023 fast-tracked to cushion the affected individuals.
As the country continues to grapple with the effects of the raging floods, the situation still remains the same in close to 37 counties. The floods has left behind a trail of destruction, killing 277 people while displacing 411,825 people. Nairobi County still remains one of the worst hit counties, with a total of 58,009 households being displaced, exceeding the national tally of displaced households, which stands at 55,575. Displacement camps are now becoming unbearable after a total of 53 cases of cholera were reported in Tana River and Marsabit counties.
Lakini liliathiri watu na wanasema kwamba kutokana na swala hilo.
However, those housed in schools are now a worried lot after a number of schools used as displacement camps reopened today for term 2. Almost all schools in the country except 71 reopened following the directive by President William Ruto last week. The 71 include 44 primary schools and 27 secondary schools, which are expected to reopen later this week.
In this regard, 44 primary schools and 27 secondary schools have not been reopened due to flood-related challenges, and the majority of them are from Nyeri County because of the slopes of the mountains. 12 primary schools and 16 secondary schools failing to reopen due to flooded toilets and classrooms. 5 schools in Kisumu County have also been submerged due to the backflow from Lake Victoria, while 2 primary schools in Pokot are inaccessible as the bridge leading to the institutions have been washed away. Moreover, 1 school in Nakuru is hosting internally displaced persons, IDPs, while a secondary school in Kirinyaga County, which has a sunken toilet, has extended its reopening date to later this week. And also about 10 schools in Kilifi, have not been able to reopen. The government will continue to provide the required support to the affected communities, and we urge fellow Kenyans, as well as our local and international partners, to continue to work with us in providing search and rescue services, as well as food and non-food item supplies to the affected households.
Farmlands in rural regions have been submerged, crops destroyed, and livestock swept away. Agricultural crops and related enterprises approximately worth 105 million shillings have been affected in Nakuru, Kilifi, Nyeri and Murang'a counties. Be that as it may, the government maintains that it is doing everything in its capacity to provide the required support to help those affected by floods.
The government will continue to provide the required support to the affected communities, and we urge fellow Kenyans, as well as our local and international partners, to continue to work with us in providing search and rescue services, as well as food and non-food item supplies to the affected households.
The Law Society of Kenya has, however, faulted the government for conducting demolitions of structures on riparian land. Their leisure plot to target low-income earners in Mukuru kwa Ruben slums is unfair.
Giving somebody a 48-hour directive, somebody who doesn't know where they're going to stay, unless you're saying, in the interim, we are giving this directive, but these are the safe havens that you can move to. Most of these people are desperate. So where do they move to when you give them that 48 hours? Because you see, some of these demolitions were done when some were playing, the children were playing, some were in their homes.
Lameka Gutu for K24 TV, Nairobi.
Well, that report by Lameka Gutu brings us to a fast break right here on K24 Evening Edition. We'll be back with more in a short while.
Cheza kama wewe na cheza sita. Ushinde hadi mara 5,000 ya bet yako teke teke. Yes, and it's that simple. Dial *675#, cheza na 6 numbers kati ya 1 hadi 6, weka bet amount yako, ushinde hadi mara 5,000 instantly. Cheza kama wewe na cheza sita na upate nafasi moja kati ya 4 ya kuwa mshindi. Dial *675# to play now. Over 18 only. Gaming is addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been authorized by the BCLB.